metal, death metal, or much more aggressive style of music, my main source of inspiration always came from the heavy metal foundation that I grew up with. Of course, I added other bands to it as well. Bands like Slayer and Morbid Angel and Pestilence and stuff like that. But and Possessed, of course, and Death, obviously. Bands like that. But heavy metal was also a big part of the mix, even if I was writing different music. But with Hammerfall, I realized, okay, I want to play heavy metal on the side. I really want to do this, so I'm going to do it no matter what. And that's why I kept both bands going for a while. And then Crystal Age sort of just fizzled out. I mean, we never said, all right, let's not play anymore. Now the band's over. We never said that. We recorded an album, but it took so long for the album to actually come out that we all lost interest. And by that time, I already had Hammerfall. I think by that time, Joachim was in the band already, I think. Maybe it was, overlapping by a couple of months or not. But we're talking now early 96. So from that point on, I knew that, okay, I'm done with death metal now. I loved playing it, but this is what I really want to do. I mean, it has been what I wanted to do since I was a kid. So it was an easy thing to do. But having said that, with Hammerfall, nobody ever expected anything out of this. You have to understand that we didn't see a future for this. We just did it because we loved to play heavy metal music. There was never any 20 years from now we're going to release 11 albums. We're going to sit here or whatever. I've never thought of it that way. I didn't think of anything other than I want to play the music that I love. Basically, that's what it was.
Okay, and who were your partners in crime?
For Hammerfall?
Yeah.
Well, from the very beginning, it was just me. I remember because I was really mad and angry at the Ceremonial Oath guys because they basically told me either you quit or you're fired. Okay. And I was really mad because that was I saw it as my band, not in the sense that I decide everything, but in the sense that since I was writing all the music, or most of it anyway, all the lyrics, I was singing, lead guitar, playing, and guitar as well, of course. It felt like I was thrown out of my own band, basically. And I was really pissed at the guys because there was a difference of opinion where Ceremonial Oath musically were supposed to go in what direction we're supposed to go in. I was going one direction, the other guys were going in another direction. So it's kind of now looking back at it, of course, it's the obvious thing to do, but I still was really hurt, because these were my friends. We grew up together in the last couple of years. So anyway. When Hammerfall was formed, I played with some friends, and I broke my arm actually in just in a stupid accident. And I was gone I couldn't play guitar for about 6 months. And during that time, that's when I met Frederick, who is bass player of Hammerfall right now. He was also in this band called Crystal Age. So that's how we started playing together. And then when I got better and I could start playing again, Jesper was also interested in joining me in Hammerfall because I asked him already after when I quit Ceremonial Oath, do you want to play with melodic metal with me? Because I knew he was one of the very few people I knew that really liked it, But he said, okay, I have In Flames now. He just started that one. I have also Ceremonial Oath. But once he was out of Ceremonial Oath, he was free for Hammerfall. So that's how it started with him and me. I already had written some songs, and we started writing songs together from that point on, and played live a couple of times. We had people in the band. Basically, the ones we asked to be in the band were people that we knew also liked melodic metal and weren't afraid to admit it, because that wasn't all. Everybody didn't do that back in those days. So we had Mika Stanne on vocals. From Dark Tranquillity. And we also had, the bass player in the beginning was Johan from In Flames, and the guitar player was Niklas Sundin from Dark Tranquillity. Hello?
All right, that's really interesting thing. So I remember everything was extreme metal, as we were mentioning back then. And when Hammerfall came out through Nuclear Blast, basically a death metal record label at that time, this was a release which was offered to hard music listeners, to underground metalheads. The magic of that is that the community, that extreme metal community, embraced and praised Hammerfall Glory to the Brave and made it one of the top-selling CDs in Nuclear Blast. and also for underground metal in general. So a few months later, there were other melodic bands everywhere. So we think Hammerfall also helped catalyze a paradigm change in the industry. Is this accurate? What are your reflections about it?
Yeah. I mean, it's easy for me to sit here now, 22 years later, and say, "Well, we did this and we did that." But the only thing we really did was believe in ourselves and the music that we played, and we didn't really listen to anybody else's opinion about that. And that's why Hammerfall sounds the way it does in the beginning, because we absolutely loved the music we were playing. But we didn't have any ambitions like to tour the world or anything. Even when we had the record deal, the first record deal that we signed was with a Dutch label called Vic Records.
It is cutting right now. You said it is cutting right now. Okay, so it was cut when you said we didn't have any ambition.
Right. So the first record deal that we got was with a Dutch label called Vic Records, and this was a really small label. We were just happy to record an album, basically, and Glory to the Brave was actually recorded for Vic Records. But before the album was released, Nuclear Blast found out about it, wanted to license it, which they did for the first 30,000 copies or whatever it was. I don't remember, because they believed in it. They thought it was a fun thing to do as well. But again, Hammerfall, the members had no ambitions what we're going to do. We had we had no plans on world domination or anything like that. So right, okay. So what are we going to do? I can't stop talking every time it cuts out. It's I'm on a pretty good Wi-Fi. I mean, on a pretty good signal right now. So it's not Wi-Fi anymore. So this shouldn't be from my end, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because I'm on 4G right now.
I'm sure it's here. Okay, so Nuclear Blast believed in the project and it was licensed. And after the 30,000 copies, what happened?
Well, then they signed us, or sort of bought Hammerfall from Big Records. They bought the rights to Glory to the Brave. And when I say they bought it, I mean Hammerfall bought it, because it's always like that with labels. You know, you get they pay the money, but it comes out of your advance later. So I guess you could say we bought ourselves. But after that, we were a Nuclear Blast band for 17 years, I believe.
Wow. So also, well, of course, now 20 years later, you're a legendary power metal band. But back in the day also, there were some frowning about it, right? There was some criticism about Hammerfall. But can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, of course. Hammerfall has never been a power metal band. I don't think power metal, as you hear it today, did not exist when we came around. We're a heavy metal band from day one and has never called us anything other than that. The thing with power metal is that that's what people started calling this movement, with fast and happy melodies, fast drumming and happy melodies that started coming around at like the very end of the 90s, early 2000s. And I've never felt any part of that, really. You know, Hammerfall is a heavy metal band because we started out as that one when everybody else was basically figuratively spitting in our faces about heavy metal. It's a bullshit genre, something you can't play heavy metal anymore. Nobody wants to listen to that shit. But we said we don't care. You know, fuck you if you don't want to listen to it. We just want to play the music that we love, and the music that we love is heavy metal. So that's why I'm a bit. I don't like the label power metal, because when Hammerfall started, the term power metal was used for bands like Jag Panzer or Omen or Sabotage. You know, the U.S. power metal was what it was called back then. So I feel no kinship with that at all, really. But anyway, no, never mind. So so what happened was, when Glory to the Brave was released and Legacy of Kings afterwards, we sort of started to get a lot of followers. A lot of people seemed to be, wow, this, you know, heavy metal I used to listen to when I was younger. I really like it still. For whatever reason, they stopped listening to it, but now they sort of rediscovered it again. But it was still mostly people our own age, which at that point was about 25, 30, something like that. It wasn't until Renegade came out that the younger generation started to get to open their eyes and ears to heavy metal again, and that was a lot thanks to Renegade for us. The album Renegade, the single, and the video, definitely at Renegade. But also from Iron Maiden, the Bruce Dickinson came back to the band in the same year. It was a huge movement going on back then, and all of a sudden, the younger generation who was not interested in heavy metal anymore. Or interested in heavy metal up until that point, started to get into it because it was all over TV and stuff in Sweden, for example. And that created some sort of resentment among some people. The true metal people gave us a lot of shit for that, just because. And I don't know. It's just weird that how I don't understand why people in certain types of people feel a need to voice their displeasure over something rather than tell people that we like this. I love this, and instead of saying people, "Oh, I fucking hate this," whatever it is, and that's so typical. Metal fans are great in a lot of ways, and this whole narrow-mindedness, and I count myself among these as well now. People who are just this way and no other way. But when you have people like that, the passion and the dedication, it's really easy to lose track of the big picture. And I'm guilty of this as well myself many times, but not in the same way, because this whole backlash, I guess, that came for Hammerfall culminated 2 years later in a brutal assault on Joachim in a bar, which was like that was totally unexpected for most people. And I think a lot of people who previous to that said that Hammerfall sucks, blah blah blah. It was more like a fun thing to say. After that, they realized, oh wait a minute. Okay, I don't like the music, but you don't have to resort to violence.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was a bit of a difficult time, but at the same time, Hammerfall was going like this all straight. We didn't really have time to stop and think about anything like that. We just did our thing like we always have done.
When you say the true metal people, who are you talking about? The true metal thing? Because I've heard one guy in metal that says it's always saying this is true, this is false, which is the Manowar guy. But that doesn't. Yeah,
no. I mean the people who, when I say true metal people, I mean the people who claim to know what true metal is. I've always said since this whole thing started that true metal for me is what I love the most. True metal for you is what you love the most. That's the true metal for you. It's just bullshit that somebody else gets to or thinks they get to decide what music other people should listen to. And that's the whole thing with this whole bullshit. That people don't like Hammerfall. If you don't like it, then don't listen to it. It doesn't, this goes against the whole spirit of heavy metal for me, which is live your life according to your own rules and make yourself happy. That's the spirit of heavy metal for me. You live your life and you decide what's good for you. And all of a sudden you have these people who are true metalheads. They love heavy metal, but they also at the same time want to tell other people what they can and can't listen to. And that's where the hypocrisy comes in. And that was what angered me a lot.
But that's gone forever, right?
I hope so.
Okay. Anyway, you don't care. That's good.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, they say you're a biker, a motorcycle biker, and that you have had several accidents. Is that true?
Not several. I had one really bad one. When was that? 2003, so 16 years ago. I had a really bad accident.
I remember Yngwie Malmsteen had a crash, and also he was almost losing his
yeah, that was 10 times worse. That Yngwie's thing was a million times worse. He was in a coma for like 3 months or something. But I had a bad spill. I actually I was going about 70 miles an hour, and I mean 70 kilometers an hour, rather, not miles, kilometers. And I sort of came basically to a full stop right in 1 second. I smashed into a car that was